Hey folks, my name is Pravus. Welcome back to more Europa Universalis 4, playing as Portugal, going for the all-blue achievements. And I gotta say, once again, I find myself in a position where I feel a little bit stymied in Europe. We did lose the alliance with France, unfortunately, with the succession war over Mantua, which we won, but Mantua is kind of pathetically weak right now, and I don't intend on holding on to them any longer than I have to. On the plus side, a lot of free North Italian territory. I mean, it's not bad in the sense that that's a lot of aggressive expansion I'm saving myself. We've lost the alliance with Naples because I failed to defend them in a war where, well, the Ottomans could have been called in. That would have been bad. And the Pope is barely tolerating me. In the meantime, I'm grabbing some allies in places like Persia, Delhi, and Bengal so I can fight the Ottomans and also start conquering chunks of India. But beyond that, where else do I go? I don't really want to fight France more than necessary. Britain has allied the Commonwealth, so that's going to be a lot more difficult. Bohemia is taking territory I want, but they are currently at least an ally for me, and the HRE is kind of strong. Plus, Protestantism is all over the place in territory I want to conquer, and Scandinavia is the defender of the Protestant faith. So, like, there's not a lot of safe avenues here. The only things I can think of that are safe and might start kind of getting some cracks would be to, one, fight in places like India and Indonesia to secure more money and stuff for me. Plus, we have missions in, like, Malacca. But we also could try to go for some colonialism wars. Holland, for example, if we were to try to attack them directly as members of the HRE, that's a pretty large and nasty war. But if I were to, let's say, do some colonialism action against Dutch La Plata, that suddenly doesn't look all that bad now, does it? Why Scandinavia can defend Holland itself, but would not be able to defend Dutch La Plata, I don't know, but the point is, these are ways I can start making some headway. Not a lot of headway, but a little bit. Only other options are to try to target the allies of some of these people. Like, if I wanted to fight France again, we could go fight Savoy. Now, that would lose me my alliance with the Papal State, but I have to break that with them at some point soon anyway. I'm just loath to lose all the Papal influence. But, like, these are the kinds of things I'm going to have to do, and at some point we have to bite the bullet. I also really do want to fight against the Ottomans. We are equivalent in strength to them right now. They're scary, but eventually we've got to crack that open so they stop getting stronger. I need to start weakening them and take territory in Alexandria and up in Aleppo so we can starve them of their income. Then they will start gradually falling apart and I'll be able to start swallowing up a piece of Europe that otherwise would be kind of tough for me to take. Another thing I'd really like to do is release Venice as a vassal. Venice would count toward my all-blue achievement, and that's a long-term vassal that I could feed who has a lot of cores. They don't exist anymore on the map, so all I have to do is just find a province, and then I can release them. There's a possibility, I mean, I could just do that now, I suppose, with some territory I've gotten. That, I hadn't even thought about that. Now that they have cores on this, if I release them as a vassal, I'd lose all this. Still, would that be worth it? Do I really care that much about this territory? No, and that would be a way of getting a lot of cores I could use against people, including the Papal State. Feed them a lot of lands, like the entire Venetian trade node, they become a halfway decent vassal. They make a lot of money, they have a good navy, and they can conquer a lot of lands and turn it blue. So, like, there's some stuff I can do on that front, which wouldn't be bad either. In the meantime, let's keep working down these defensive ideas. I'd really like to start finishing some of these out as fast as I can. They don't have the best policies, but there's some that's pretty good. Plus, a harsh treatment cost reduction would mean that I could build up my absolutism even faster, which is nice, though by the time we get to that point, I'm hoping to be kind of close to capped out. In the meantime, my income has jumped up to about 315 ducats per month. That's good. We can do better. Ottomans are currently distracted in a war against Ethiopia. I've got enough favors with Delhi, almost enough with Persia. You guys are currently involved in some stuff together, but like if you can finish this war soon, this could be a really good opportunity to go and attack the Ottomans. Tier 8, government reforms are now available. Oh gosh, which ones do I like here again? Empower the burghers can be certainly good for us. Trade efficiency and global trade power is just straight out more money. Trade steering's good, I guess. Trade company governing cost, blah, blah, blah. Exploitations in the New World is interesting, though, because all colonial subjects get 10% extra goods produced, which means a lot of money being created and then sent my direction. Plus, I get an extra colonist. All right, I don't even have to think about it too much. That's fine, let's do it. This is interesting. Why would a bunch of people not join the war in defense of the Ottomans? Occupied and besieged. Oh, okay, so her moves and such are kind of in a bad spot and unable to really do much. Alright. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, it looks like the Ottomans has been spending some time trying to get both of these nations to like him, which means they don't want to join anyway, even though I do now have all the favors and stuff in place. Their attitude towards enemies is pretty high. Plus, I have war exhaustion and stuff like that. So I actually probably can't rely on these guys for almost anything, which may mean that I don't want to keep these allies for very long after all. But it just so happens it may not matter, because this kind of looks manageable. Alright, screw it. We said we had to do this eventually anyway. I guess now's about as good a time as any. Let's go ahead and declare this war. Here we go, Ottomans. Now, I'm still pretty spread out, and they've got a bunch of troops all over the place, so this is quite risky for me still. Wish I had a lot more troops in position. That would have been better. Still, as long as I don't split my forces up too much, he can only death stack so much, and then he's going to start running out of things like manpower. I have a larger manpower pool than him. So, I mean, eventually, I will probably still win. And he is building up a lot of troops over here, so let's pay attention to this, because until this fort falls, my ability to move is pretty limited. Alright, there's the fort. Thank you. I'm going to have a big collapse, I suppose, on this desert. Remind me, does desert have a... No, just doesn't give you any combat bonuses or any penalties, so we might as well fight here. This is going to be a big fight. It's about 120 versus 150,000. Might be better, sort of, to stagger some troops first. So this guy will arrive on the 28th. Then you'll arrive on the 1st. We'll give it a couple days, then get in there, and then you'll arrive on the 5th. Good enough for me, I think. We've already got full combat with, so why send in all these troops to all lose morale when instead they can kind of stagger in and keep refreshing the front line instead? That's kind of the mentality behind this, so even though technically I'm fighting a larger force, I'm not losing anything really here in the front line, I'm just taking some damage from the back line, but as I start shattering, we'll replenish, and he won't. Case in point, bye. Now this is the risky point, because now I'm actually getting into a couple of really high-level forts in the mountains. I typically have found in the past that for some reason the Ottomans don't upgrade their forts very much, but that might be different now that they have these weird little subjects, which, by the way, these subjects are weird because I can technically separate peace with them. So they're kind of like a forced tributary ally. It's weird. By the way, yeah, look over here. Forts for the Ottomans, level 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, the Ottomans have not been upgrading their forts almost at all. That means that once I actually grab the next level of military tech, level 19, which I'm very close to doing, we'll get the Star Fort, and that makes these even more obsolete forts than they already were. It's the ally who's actually got good forts. That's a weird setup. Bohemia just left the war. Oh, this is where I didn't realize the Ottomans had moved about 180,000 troops into Bohemia. Makes sense. Now I see why they left the war. Hey, go ahead and fight the Papal State next if you really want to. So let's see what it would take for me to just go ahead and knock this ally out of the war. I could take a chunk of Egypt if I wanted to do something like this, which would be an interesting play. Yeah, question, is Jaffa... No, Jaffa is not far enough north to be a part of Syria, so I couldn't release them as a vassal, which is a strategy I would like to do. It would make my life easier. So I could do something kind of like this, take a bunch of territory off of them. That would be fine. We could also try to do a reconquest of Jerusalem in this war now. That would be fun. Yeah, I like that idea. I don't think there's a lot else from these guys that I would consider very valuable. We could take more, but like, All we're really doing is creating a massive amount of aggressive expansion, so the Ottomans will be a threat to me for a long time. But that's kind of it. I don't know how much I really care about that. Let's take all this. This seems okay. Okay, awesome. So that's gone, but we're still in the war with the Ottomans, so that's not over. Don't think it is. It's not. It just means now I don't have to worry about all this nonsense. All right, I'm going to take a really risky play here. I'm able to cross this strait. His navy is not very strong. I just fought it. It's a lot of galleys, but they're all very out-of-date galleys. He's stuck on my forts and the Papal State, so he's not doing a lot. This could be a chance to grab his capital, at which point we get so much war score that I'm fine if I take like a 50 or 60% deal. That's not a problem to me. And it's also level 1, isn't it? Yep, so we start at 49% once I just use a little bit of power to get a quick breach, which means there we go. We grab both of those at once. Okay, so now, as long as I don't lose any important forts, we can kind of afford to do almost whatever I want here. which is an awesome position for me to be in. So you know what I'm gonna do? Carpet siege until I'm in a position where I might lose Constantinople. Basically, if we're gonna be in a base race, we're gonna win this one. Oh, and I think I just died. All right. Army professionalism, elite regiments removed, House of De Mello, blah, blah, blah. Cool. All right, so we died. We get our 246 now. That's not awful, and we have a 532 that is going to be our heir. Could be a lot worse, so I guess that's fine. Let's get our free stability. Thank you, Pope Man. All right, he's abandoning a handful of these sieges, which means he's just throwing himself away. He's down to almost no manpower left, so this has been very costly for him. I, in the meantime, am regenerating manpower faster than I lose it so far, so, like, who cares? But I also feel like at this point we kind of hit a point where, like, what else do I want to do? Are we kind of done with this war? Am I ready to just kind of give it up and move on to other things now? Maybe. We'll take all this for sure. And I want to take a province so we can release Syria. And then beyond that, what else do I really care about? We could take some of his little colonies and stuff and say, no, don't do that, but let's be honest, he's not making any meaningful amount of money out of those anyway. So, What about, like, any territories I could release, like, in the Balkans? Greece doesn't exist for cores, so that's not a thing. Neither does Byzantium, by the way. That is long gone, so if anyone had any ideas there, too bad, so sad, no thank you. But if I did take some territory along here and just say, screw you, you're not controlling the straits anymore, now that would be mean and kind of funny. Yeah? Yeah, it's not bad. Though if I was gonna do that, we should probably stick to just actually owning, like, Constantinople. I mean, let's take a look here as far as, like, regions and subcontinents and stuff like that. So, do I need to own all of Eastern Europe as well for all blue? Maybe, but the point is, I probably don't need any territory in the Levant, technically speaking. This would give me a fair bit of aggressive expansion. It's safe to say the Ottomans would always hate me, but, like, at the same time, this screws with them in a pretty major way, doesn't it? Take war reps, take 1,000 ducats. Yeah, I kind of like this, and I can build some level 6 forts, and they're gonna struggle with me for the rest of the game. I did say I wanted to screw them over. This screws them over. Alright, cool. Now, I didn't give anything to the Pope, so he's about to be very angry with me, but I don't care, because pretty soon I'm gonna have to break off that relationship. And this is all surprisingly affordable. Even Constantinople only cost me 65 admin power for a nearly 50 development province. Heck yes. And I can turn this into a trade company? I didn't know that. Well, that's good to know. Okay, cool. By the way, I'm getting really cheap harsh treatment options now. Turns out we got some cool stacking modifiers. Not only do I have the 50% over here, but also, which is it? Is it Alhambra? There's a wonder here. No, it's a different one. It's up over here somewhere. Is it this one? No, where is it? Where is it? Ah, this palace right here. There's another 25% reduction right along there, too. So, like, between a handful of different things, we're getting some really harsh, good harsh treatment. Plus, I kind of wonder, is this going to end up being additive, where if I add on the policy from defensive and admin ideas, it's going to be free? Because if so, I will never, ever have to worry about rebels or absolutism again. It feels like it's got to be multiplicative, but even if it is, that's a really cheap discount. Now, I have created one very minor problem. Now that I have taken Jerusalem, it looks like there is going to be a jihad. So all Sunni nations have the Holy War casus belli against me for the rest of the game until I lose Jerusalem, which I have no intention of doing. That's going to get awkward. It's going to get awkward pretty quick. Let's see what we can clear out from Holland here, by the way. So I'll take that piece of Africa that they should never have had in the first place. They got a handful of other little colonies and islands that I don't approve of. These are very cheap since I did declare a colonialism war, so that's not hard for me to take from them. So basically what I can say to them is, lay these foolish ambitions to rest, because this is, not happening, guys. Not happening. Get the heck out of my new world. A whole new world, but not for you. All right, next institution has fired off. Manufactories. I did not get it this time. It fired in, it looks like in France. All right. Shouldn't be a big deal, to be honest. I have a lot of manufactories built up. It's one of the perks of being stupid rich. So, we're going to be getting plenty of this as is. Yeah, case in point, like most of my core lands, or at least a decent chunk of the high dev ones, are already working on that institution, so that's looking pretty good. Our navy has increased to 750 ships. I'm almost at 500,000 soldiers, by the way. The Ottomans are recovered from where they were, but I have officially eclipsed them in pretty much every meaningful way. Now, I do want to fight Malacca at some point here very soon, because I have a mission to take some territory there, and we haven't done missions in a while. And unfortunately, I'm about to get very distracted because I kind of have to go and, like, fight France again or something. Because if I don't find an excuse to go and fight people like France, then at some point soon their truce timer is going to expire, and that means that the Ottomans and France can join forces, and I don't like their power combined. So if I wanted to fight France, what would I do? Little colonialism? Meh. Again, it's a situation where, like, how much do I benefit from this? And the answer is not at all. It will be a thing I do literally just to prevent them from joining coalitions against me in the future. That's all I would do. That's the entire point of fighting them. No one else really cares. And quite frankly, the Ottomans have enough going on for themselves, but, like, yeah, you don't want to fight them both together, though. That is a certainty. And France, by the way, just lost their war against Bali. Really? You declared this war thinking all this would be so easy, and you went so long without sending a single soldier down there that they beat you. They're like 2 provinces. That's hilarious. Yeah, France, maybe France not as stronca as I thought. Maybe not so bad. See, now as soon as I get into a war with France, the coalition is reforming right now. So, like, this gives you probably a clue as to far, like, yeah, the AI still thinks it can beat me even if it has the numbers of France on its side. Which maybe it can, I don't know. But this is all the more reason why you really don't want to have France plus the Ottomans involved. That's enough to be a problem. Ooh, there's the Ottomans in that coalition I was afraid of. Yep. That is the thing. So, good thing I am splitting the coalition preemptively? Question mark? Now, really, the reason I'm here at war with France is not just to split them off of the coalition potential. It's also so I can pull the Papal State into a war so that they're not going to defend Naples, who I am then going to just go ahead and kill now. You could argue that this is, in fact, a betrayal most foul, and that wouldn't be entirely wrong, but I mean, hey, we haven't been an ally with them for a while now, so I don't know what they were expecting, that I was going to sit back and wait around forever. Now, I can't end this war for at least a little bit. I got to make sure that we actually do take enough war score off of Napoli that no one's going to join said war, but this is my opportunity to take a lot of land there. And, of course, reset a massive coalition, I am sure. All right, 60% war score. That should be more than enough for what I need to do with Naples, so we'll just go ahead and siege the rest of this, and we can peace out here with France. But I can't take any lands because I chose to just do a simple humiliate rival war goal, so we're going to stick with that. Let's humiliate them and make them feel real freaking stupid. Also, give me, like, La Plata and stuff. You should not have this. And then we just take as much money as I can, and that's still not enough. I'm trying to get a long peace timer with these guys. Could go for just some simple, like, random treaty things. I mean, yeah, that's fine, I guess. So there we go. That's going to keep France properly humiliated and humbled for a good long while. France immediately is no longer a worthy rival. That leaves me with no one but the Ottomans. Which, yeah, that sounds about right. And with a full occupation of Naples, what do I want? Well, kind of all of it, if I'm honest. Maybe I'll take Ragusa as well, just so I have access to little other folks like Montenegro, stuff like that, but meh. I also want you to just go ahead and release Venice. It's one province, yeah. But if I can convince these guys to be my vassal boy, I will feed them all of their cores. I'm a very good overlord. You should know this. Coalition doesn't really look any worse than it already is, so I'll just take all of this land, and it's super cheap to me anyway. So there we go. All right, thank you. So, hi, Venice. I own some of your cores, so you would never become willingly a little vassal. But, you know, I'm just saying, once the Papal State can't really do anything to you and you're properly well surrounded, then I shall kill you. You will be my subject. Whether you like it or not, it's gonna happen. And how are we looking right now in terms of our global empire? Again, not seeing a lot of progress over here, but I do think it may be time to start the integration process of Mantua. We do not require them as a vassal anymore, so I'll just go ahead and eat them. It's gonna take a long time, don't get me wrong. Very long time, unfortunately, 20 years. But that's all of northern Italy. Then we have a big chunk of southern Italy, so now it's time to put some pressure on Le Pope Man. And also, if we can find a way to get Britain out of the coalition so that I can go and kill them, that'd be great. Hello, Commonwealth! How are you? You actually are a worthwhile ally. My problem is that you're friends with Britain. But put that aside, you're actually a good buddy. A good Catholic buddy. Screw it. I want to lock this in before it's too late. There we go. Now no one will want to join a coalition against me. Ooh, Britain declared war on France. That doesn't happen too often, but I guess France is kind of crippled at the moment, so this does make some sense. All right. The coalition, fortunately, seems to have more or less fallen apart. There's still a lot of very angry people, but not many that are all joined together, so now we can start acting with impunity again, which means I'm going to go conquer a little bit more Africa, and we need to find a way to get back into war against the Ottomans. Now is not a bad time for that. Also, I wouldn't mind taking Hormuz down over this direction. Kind of a topical reference these days, but that is going to be a mission for us. Conquer Hormuz, we get ourselves some extra production and stuff, and that leads to conquering Oman, which means a clash with the Ottomans, which can get me extra discipline, and that's really good. So, like, there's a lot of stuff I need to do here. Big chunk of land taken away from Songhai, which fills in some deserts and makes my font bigger. And we all know when you're playing a game of EU4, that's the only thing that really matters. All right, I do think that maybe it's time to go ahead and fight against the Ottomans again. Should be able to handle that without too much issue. They're down to 281,000 troops. I'm up to 662. You want to talk about a big swing of power? I mean, I've gained a bit in this video, just a bit. So let's go ahead and do our reconquest war to get everything back to Syria. Hormuz would not join. That's unfortunate. They're actively being murderfied by Persia and such. That's fine. We'll take an opportunity to go and kill them later, I suppose. Commonwealth won't join. Why? Because you're in debt, of course. Well, here's the good news. I'm a very wealthy ally. There we go. Seems easy enough. Let's get them. Oh, get wrecked, Ottomans. It's not even close. We're obliterating these guys. They're taking loads of damage. Part of the issue is, once again, the Ottomans don't really have much in the way of good defenses, so if they're going to base race me, we're gonna win. And then secondly, the Ottomans are one of those nations that's really scary early in the game, but the longer it goes on, I find their tech starts falling behind. Not even their tech levels, just like their tech group. And I don't actually know if I'm right on this. I haven't checked the pips in a long time, but it sure feels like the Ottomans just get progressively weaker as the game goes on, which is great for me. Let's go ahead and eat the rest of Egypt up over this direction if we can. We cannot. Why not? Length of war, current peace offer, blah, blah, blah. All right, fine, whatever. I plan on taking all of that if I can, work my way down some coasts here. I do think that at some point building the Suez Canal will be amazing for us. We're still a little ways away from that, though. And do we think we're ready to go ahead and fight Great Britain now? They've got 200,000 soldiers. That is a lot, but played correctly, I think I'll be safe over here without too much issue. And I do want to do this before the Commonwealth becomes a problem, so yeah, I think we'll do that. I can call in Persia here, too? That seems weird. I don't know why we would do that. It's fine. Go ahead and start the war. Okay, so it looks like they're going to send a lot of troops en masse up over here into Scotland, which is sensible, I suppose. Wish I had a few more troops up here because we could fight them over this fort pretty well, but that's going to be a little tough. Oh yeah, they've got actually almost all their troops right here. Okay. Well, at least I know exactly where they are. So I've either got to get these troops the heck out of here, or we're going to want to go fight over this before I lose that fort. So let's go ahead and send some of these guys in. Follow that up with some reinforcements a few days later. That's going to be a good defensive advantage for me. Hopefully this gives us some pretty big numbers. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, he's got a lot of units, but like he can't fill this many, so we're doing tons of morale damage. And even if I lose, which it looks like I might... they rolled a 9. Okay, maybe we will. But still, this was pretty strong. We did a lot of damage, considering I haven't lost anything. Besides, now I have London. What you gonna do? The answer is demolish my navy. Holy crud. Right, because the British rule the waves and all that. But sure, go ahead and stick 158,000 troops on this one province, taking ungodly amounts of attrition. I'm sure that won't work out poorly for you or anything. They're literally gonna burn out their entire manpower pool in one spot. Brilliant, guys, brilliant. Anyway, I have to keep the war with the Ottomans going long enough to get enough war score that I don't have to worry about the Commonwealth joining after the fact. That would make me extremely sad were we to lose that alliance, because this is actually going to be a really good one for us. Yeah, he's burned through like 70,000 manpower in like 3 months. There we go, he finally got the fort. That's such an unbearably stupid move from the AI. How are we doing in the New World? Meh, not great, it's fine. Alright, tell you what, we're gonna have some of you guys on siege duty and then some of you just literally on kill them all duty. I want some of my overseas vassals to do nothing but hunt down and kill their armies. The rest can follow them up with sieges. Portuguese Colombia, by the way, 100,000 troops. What a boss. And I still don't have, oh wait, I was gonna say, I still don't have a call for peace with the Ottomans. I do now, okay. But at 61% war score, the Commonwealth should not be able to join now, right? Like, I'm about 95% sure that they shouldn't be able to. Once you get above, what is it, 30%, 35? Like, it shouldn't be possible for them to join. So we should be completely safe, right? If I find out I'm wrong on this, I'm gonna be very peeved. All right, Ottoman. First things first, we hand a lot of land off to my little buddy, Syria. And it's gonna cost you all of your Aleppo stuff. Then I hand over some additional land to them to make sure we grab another really important port right over here in Adana. And then I probably rob you of a handful of little islands out over here just for good measure, so I don't have to worry about facing you in Indonesia in future wars. Cause who would want to do that? And this is dirt cheap too, because I'm handing so much of it off to vassals, it's gonna cost me practically nothing. Alrighty then, bada boom. Thank you, Ottomans. It's been fun playing with you. So now they've lost almost the entirety of Alexandria and almost the entirety of Aleppo, which means most of the money that's coming in from this area of the world is not going to them. It's only stuff from, like, I don't know, Crimea, Astrakhan that's heading their direction, and that is a pittance compared to what they're used to. That's gonna starve the beast. By the way, I think I'm watching Britain literally start deleting chunks of their army because they can't afford it. Well, that just feels nice now, doesn't it? Yeah, they're literally deleting pieces of their army. They can't afford anything. Suffer, Britain! Suffer for me! The real question is, can we siege down enough to demand stuff in the New World? And the answer should be yes. We got the colony up over here, the capital, I should say. So, I mean, like, as long as you guys don't mess up, that's pretty much everything we care about. And mines, for their part, should be ready to be done as well. Are you already Catholic? Oh, you're one of the good ones. I'm sorry to kill you like that. It's fine. So what do I want? Well, first off, we take a bit of territory down around over here because cutting them off from some of their trade is certainly valuable. And then beyond that, we probably go back to colonial nations and see what we can get them to concede. So for example, you shouldn't have any territory in Louisiana, so we can get rid of all of that. And then we want to weaken up the 13 colonies a bit further. So let's push up into Maryland and Virginia. So we can take all that, plus we can take this. This is a reasonable thing for me. Oh, but. We did want to have them break off their relationship with the Commonwealth, so maybe we take a bit less. There we go. All right, so this at least gets me more what I want. Perfect. Cool, let's do it. What kind of coalition am I looking at? It's bad, but it's not as bad as it could be. So, Mr. Commonwealth, you'll probably be a little mad at me for, like, making some of these relationships get broken up, but now no more friendos with the British, okay? We can do other things. We can be friends forever, at least until I need to turn you blue. And Britain immediately goes bankrupt. Beautimous. So how's our empire looking right now? Bit by bit, we're making some progress. Next move might be to find a way to betray the Pope. I would like to do that. I really need to... Oh, Venice is allied to the... Well, if only I had done that sooner. Okay, this is actually fine, because I'll find an excuse to go and kill the Venetians and vassalize them. That's what I really want with these guys. I want to vassalize them so I can feed them a bunch of cores, and I'd rather do that before I fight the Papal State. Is there a way for me to get into war with Ragusa? Maybe if I were to fight France and then co-belligerize. Well, I can do that pretty soon, actually. Would not be the worst thing. Woohoo! Newfoundland wants to declare independence. All right. That should make things even easier. Not that the AI is historically very good at getting independence, but they can certainly try. And now France is declaring war on Britain as well. Conquest back and forth and back and forth. Very much French versus British things. It tracks. Another government reform. Ah, right. Who gives us the best legitimacy for power? Machiavellianism? Les Six Livres de la République could be good. The Two Treatises of Government, a personal favorite of mine. Leviathan, of course, is quite good for us. Rebel Suppression Efficiency, Harsh Treatment Cost again. We're already maxed on that, so I don't know about that, but the Liberty Desire and Subjects would be good. Or, of course, this Social Contract, National Unrest. Heretic and Heathen provinces do not give penalties. I think we'd take the Social Contract. It makes sense for us. No, Scandinavia, don't rival me. Who do you think you are? Okay, whatever. Get rid of Ajuran. They're out of the picture. Really, though, you really think you're a justifiable rival against me? You were friendly for a moment there. 190,000 troops to my 742. Are you insane? I'm not rivaling you back. Well, yes, I guess I could. The Commonwealth isn't friends with you, so I guess it doesn't actually matter. Who would I upset? Bohemia? Novgorod? So I'm rival to the only other two major blue powers in Europe, huh? Like, really? For the all-blue achievement, you guys are just really not letting me make friends, huh? Okay, fine. By the way, aren't we getting really close to the age of imperialism at this point? I think we're 2 techs away. I think we're 2 diplotechs away from being able to do that, which will be incredible. I will have to decide what other ideas do I want to go for. We could go for influence ideas, which is not half bad, paired up with the admin ideas. Diplomatic annexation costs is great for when you want to do lots of very rapid blobbing. Plus, we have a lot of vassals, so less Liberty Desire would be good. Diplo annexation costs there, relations, reputation, blah, blah, blah. Vassal force limit contribution, unjustified demands. Would make a lot of sense. Could go for espionage ideas for the aggressive expansion reduction. Other than that, I only think the other thing that makes sense is more military ideas. So we could go for, like, offensive or maybe quality ideas. Either one of those would be good. Probably offensive for the siege ability. Yeah, okay. Knowing that this is the case, let's go ahead and do a Diplo focus. I've been burning a lot of this trying to eat up Mantua, which I stand by. Very important to do, but we need to have more Diplo power stocking up. Because I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to go for a Diplo idea group. Bazewe France. Are you ready for another war? Ragusa's allied to the Ottomans now? No, they're guaranteed by the Ottomans. Gosh dang you, you stupid Turks! Fine, I guess I'm not going to be doing anything to Venice right now. So what the heck am I supposed to do here, huh? What am I supposed to do with you? Answer, not a dang thing. Not a dang thing. All right. We can fight France again anyway. If nothing more than to keep them out of the coalition potentials again. Who, by the way, now they're up to a déavis for their dynasty. So twice now they have abandoned my dynasty. There was never any way that was going to work. Never any way in heck. So yeah, do we want to just go fight these guys once more? What would I take from them? Tiny bit of land if I wanted, but who cares really? Peru, probably, so I can stop worrying about them. Yeah. Plus you got some territories and colonies and stuff I could take away, which would be nice. Alright. I guess we can assert our dominance one more time over here. I really wish you would just... maybe I can force them to break their rivalry with me, you know? This is just dumb. You shouldn't be enemies with me. We should be friends. We can claim a second hegemony now, by the way. I could become the economic hegemon, which is a really good one. I do like it. The monthly war exhaustion's nice. The goods produced modifier's amazing. The minimum autonomy and territory is very good for a global empire. And governing capacity, like, this is solid. The only question is, would I rather go for military? For the national unrest, the land attrition, the movement speed, the siege ability would make warfare very, very easy. Oh, for God's sake. French, Mains, why are you guys stacking 157,000 soldiers in Avignon? Do you know how many freaking soldiers that is? It's ridiculous. What are you doing? Why you be this way? That's stupid. All right, 88% war score. I honestly don't see much reason to do a lot more against these guys, except for the fact that apparently some of this stuff is claimed by Mantua, which I could hand off, but why? It's all blue, so maybe I don't care. But if I handed off something like Savoy territory to Mantua, yeah, slows down the integration by a smidge, but like, whatever. Oh, wait, they're in a union. Oh, you had a personal union with Savoy? Aw, France saw what I did with Mantua, and they're like, I want that too. Bunch of losers, copycats. So I'll eat all of French Peru over here. That's a handful of little islands that you guys took without my permission. Just saves me the trouble of hunting this stuff down later. And honestly, go ahead and keep British Cascadia. That will never, ever be useful to me. What does this do to the coalition? Makes it pretty scary, but again, as long as people like the Ottomans and Britain can't join, I don't care. Cool, good enough. Maybe now's a good time to go ahead and start fighting some more over India. Could do that, call Bengal and Delhi into a war against Gujarat and all their friends, and then while Bengal is distracted, that's my chance to go and fight Malacca. We can get some progress over here in Indonesia. Then finish off people like Brunei and stuff like that. Control the Spice Islands, the spice must flow. You get the idea. And by the way, there's no way we're going to be able to do some Diplo ideas for a little bit. Not so long as I'm still integrating Mantua, which is taking forever. So instead, I think we are just going to go ahead and grab another military idea group. Since it's now time to grab the Constitution. Plus some more military tech coming at a very good time. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the offensive ideas, I think. The extra land leader, shock, and fire value will be great for us. The siege ability is awesome. More units, more discipline, more morale. Plus, what does this do as far as other things? Well, we could get some income from vassals and stuff like that, which I don't really care about. Settler chance is kind of irrelevant to this point. No other really good policies to pick up. As opposed to quality ideas, which is not bad. But I think I'd rather just do this. All right, we'll pick up influence ideas next time. So let's go ahead and start this war, call in all of my friends. We have massive numbers advantages. Here's hoping they don't have very strong forts. Nah, they built level 6 everywhere. I remember a day in EU4 when even this late in the game, I didn't have to worry about this many army nations with 200,000 troops and max level forts everywhere. The balance of the game did shift somewhere. It really did. And not necessarily, I think, for the better. Anyway, here's hoping that the AI decides it is far more important to go and destroy Delhi and Bengal and leave me the heck alone. Ooh, Suez Canal can start process. 20,000 ducats. It's a lot of money! But hey, unfettered access to the Mediterranean and the Gulf of Aden would be amazing, so I can stop going all the way around Portugal whenever I want to reinforce anything, you know what I mean? Portuguese Peru is done. Okay, so with very minor exceptions, we now control pretty much the entirety of the New World, with the exception of Canada and Alaska, basically, and a couple little tiny things here and there. So that's pretty good. That's great, actually. Whoa, 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 did I just see the United States exists? Hey, what do you know? All right, Canada and the United States have broken free. Cool, I got truces with them and stuff, and they're allied to each other, which is going to be an issue. Canada's shockingly strong. But yeah, Britain's lost most of their staff. This feels good. Feels good whenever the US makes an appearance in a game. We're ready to finish up our war with Malacca. Declaration of American Independence. How exciting for all of them. All right, so I want to take all this up until Malacca itself, I do believe, which will cause a lot of coalition issues in this area. But that's probably okay, I guess. The important thing is there was a mission there that was important to finish. Which, tell me I actually finished. Please tell me I did. Portuguese Malacca, own core. Yeah, I just have to core the province. Okay, done. All right, for the end of the game. Local trade power and defensiveness in the area. Sweet. Foul spawn of Satan. Excommunication of were-tigers? Pardon-moi? What the heck's a frickin' were-tiger? Anyway, settling in Indonesia. 25 years. More trade efficiency and so on. Secure trade. For the rest of the game, trade efficiency, global trade power, and goods produced. Oh my god, that's worth a lot of money by itself. Jeez, dude. Take what I can out of Gujarat. Let's remind ourselves what was our mission with them. These three up here, so I want to work my way up the coast, as long as I have the overextension, which I kind of do. So we're done with all of that. We got to finish another mission, so that's trade company investment costs, permanent claims, and a couple more regions. Burma and whatever else. Sweet, plus Casa de India, which gets me an event, which gets me mercantilism and trade efficiency for the rest of the game. Oh my gosh. So now I gotta conquer like all of Pegu. That's my next goal apparently, which I could do, but I guess I don't really care that much. And we are almost done annexing Mantua, and then I'm gonna eat a big chunk of Gujarat once I am done with some of this overextension, which I actually just finished a big chunk, so that's looking good. So a big chunk of southern India, plus a lot of these coasts, plus we can figure out what the heck to do with Pegu, continue with Indonesia. And up here in Europe, Mantua will be done. My next war with the Ottomans is my opportunity to take Venice. Once I take Venice, we fight the Papal State in Naples. I feed Venice, we fight Bohemia. I turn them into a powerhouse, and then I'm going to try to conquer the rest of Italy and continue working on Britain. With Britain and Italy more or less done, it'll turn into the HRE, the Balkans, and eventually betray my ally, the Commonwealth, and just take over the rest of Eastern Europe. We're setting ourselves up very nicely for the Age of Revolutions. Once I have imperialism and I can take obscene amounts of land, we're going to be looking really, really dang good. Plus, just in general, oh look, Alaska exists now. Yeah, Britain's got nothing. So the New World is ripe for the taking in a beautiful, beautiful way. Oi, 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 thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I would ask to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.